Hello everyone. I know any subscribers will not really want to watch this video. Go ahead and click off. I don't expect you to. This is not a regular video I'm doing. This is just about a game that I've played for a fairly long time at this point. On and off. I've always had a love and hate relationship with this game, as I'd surmise many people have. Just about 9 years, a couple months. It's about how long I've played this game on and off, and the game has certainly come a long way from how it used to be. It used to be a lot worse in regards to what happens in terms of the matchmaking, but sometimes I feel like it's also taken a direct inverse of what some people think should happen. And I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys a recording of this game I just played that sums it up fairly well. And I know what many of you are thinking right now. I'm just going to say how my team sucks or whatever. No. Quite honestly, if you are bad at this game, you're bad at the game, right? Like, it shouldn't be on you to somehow become an esports player of this game, right? That's just not how the world works. Not everyone's great at everything, you know? And part of matchmaking, I feel, in any game, is to pit even teams against each other. And when you have a game that ends up being a 15-1 stomp, absolute stomp, you really start to question exactly what's going on. And quite honestly, I was honestly curious at this point. You know, I've come to the point where you play enough matches where the game is just a complete stomp fest. It's 15 to the lower digits, you know, 1 to 6 or something. And those are a majority of the matches for you. You might not really get a lot of, 15 to 12s or 15 to 14s, close, nail-biting matches that you would really hope for. And part of the problem, I feel, is the matchmaker is still completely inadequate at matching up players. But I'll discuss that afterwards. Let's just go ahead and get to the recording, because while it won't shed complete light on this, as the bigger problem I will show afterwards, but it'll just showcase exactly what I'm talking about when I say a complete stomp fest, because maybe there are some people out there who usually get a lot of even matches, but that's certainly not the case for me. But let's go ahead and see that recording. So we're on Glacier. And as you can see, obviously the tank matchup is fairly similar, right? Luckily, the matchmaker has evolved enough to pit up the exact number of points that are weighted for each. I don't know that off the top of my head, but it usually ends with heavy tanks being the most, followed by medium tanks, and then tank destroyers, light tanks, and then artillery, I think, are the point orders. I may be wrong on that point, but it balances that on points now as additionally to tiers. They've added many more matchmaking templates as well, luckily, from the old 357, which was sufficed, but it was obviously they needed more to put in there. But so yeah, obviously in the beginning, I don't really see anything that draws my attention, besides the fact that I don't feel too confident with the Jaegeru coming over here. Especially with the fact that it's tier 10 and you fully expect people to press the 2 key. But that will actually be happening a lot. It's part of the reason why I've just been playing the IS-7 lately, because it just eats gold shells. But anyway, so, I go north. I'm a heavy tank, right? I'm going to try to do something here. Obviously, I'm not going to try to push into this. As we can see, heat shell. Yeah, I don't even need the mod on to know it's heat with the fizzle. So, if anyone's wondering how I know that. So, yeah, I'm playing Catchy Goo Goo with a 277 around this corner. And already, going across the field, my team has taken a heavy bombardment of damage, which may be an indication, but may not be, right? So basically goes without a hitch going on over here. It's pretty standard stuff. I'm just trying to see if I can get any shots on people. This T-44 on their team, absolute hero. I don't even know if the TDs can actually hit him. Maybe. But I would figure not, because he's on such an angle, but this guy's able to get these shots off, and yeah, obviously I don't have enough elevation as well. So already we're at 0-2, right? So, the game isn't lost, but, we're going to have to make up some ground here. I realize that there's just no way we can win this flank pushing. They have too many tanks on their team. And, of course, I get penetrated by a heat shell. It's whatever, I guess. But yeah, now it's 0-3. Looking at the bottom right corner, I would expect my team to maybe be able to do something there. I'd figure we had more guys there, but it doesn't really look like that at that point. It looks like it's even, and right now we're on a complete foot. So what I'm thinking right now is we need to retreat back and let the TDs help us out here. That's the only way I can see us really doing anything. So that's what we're going to do here in a second. But already another kill. We haven't gotten a single kill yet. It's 0-4. And 0-5. Already I know there's no way we can possibly win this flank. Unless if I get miracle ammo racks, but that's just not going to happen. Yeah. I'm just trying to not get killed at this point. Even though it is pretty scummy that I let the VK take the hit, even though, I mean, to be fair though, he does probably have more armor than me. But yeah, I'm not gonna play that game with the 277, so I just wait. I just hope that my TDs in the back can do something here, but as you can see, yeah, we're at 0-8 at this point. So 0-9. And I actually start thinking, like, is this going to be a 0-15 game? It's been a really long time since that's happened. Maybe. And I finally get killed by the flying T-44 that does it for the replay. That was pretty impressive. I don't know. I mean, it's pretty cool. Doesn't usually happen, but yeah, so we finally managed to get a kill. But yeah, I don't think we're gonna get another one, and we end off on 1-15. And I mean, many of you would just be like, "Oh, well, your team sucked, whatever, right? You guys didn't do something, whatever, right?" And yeah, probably. But part of the problem with that is that many people in this game just aren't that good, like to be able to formulate a strategy and to somehow get your teammates to work around it, or to just be able to consistently hit enemy tanks in their weak points and stuff like that. I know part of that is RNG, but I'm just saying in general. But I believe the bigger issue is that if you have generally a few players on your team that have more than the average skill level, that obviously that team is going to perform better than the other. And you may be like, well, what are you going to do about that, right? Like, well, there was a thing they introduced a long time ago. I really never saw the point of it, besides using it for something, right? Because obviously, if people are just going to use the win-8 ratio to gauge a player over this statistic, then why is it even in the game? And so let's go ahead and look at a set of numbers that will hopefully demonstrate my point. So I just set this up in a small spreadsheet. I'll give you guys a couple of seconds to determine what these numbers are, but probably be pretty obvious once you see the rather large numbers that they are, and they're certainly not win-8. So yes, if you guess personal rating, you are correct. And quite honestly, personal rating is a statistic that really does gauge the general skill of a player, I feel, to the best of the game's ability, besides win-8. But even win-8, I think, is worse because it doesn't take into a lot more factors. But yeah, it takes into account the total amount of battles you've played, the total amount of victories you have, which corresponds with victory ratio, the average experience you have in all your battles, the average damage you cause in all of your battles, and the average damage caused by your assistants in battles. All of this culminates into this number that you see for here. And I can tell you we were on Team 2 in that game. And so I figured, why don't I look at why we lost that so terribly in a 15-1, just complete dog pile on our team? And the conclusion I've come to is that the matchmaker is still insufficient in this game. And I feel like this is a large reason why people stop playing World of Tanks. Besides Wargaming's continued insistence on overpowered premium tanks and not balancing certain things, premium shells, but yeah, this is definitely a big factor, I feel. It's part of the reason why I quit playing the game multiple times. But, as Corona season has happened, I've gotten so bored that I've gotten to play the game again. But, yeah, so you had Team 1, who, and I'm putting this out there, I'm not a good player at the game. Like from the replay, you can tell I'm not an exceptional player at the game. But when I have the highest personal rating on a team, and I'm not even that great at the game, to be quite honest. I expect the enemy team maybe it would be cool if they were a similar skill level, right? Yeah, that's really not the case. And you may be like, well, it's only a 30,000 point difference, right? In the totals. Yeah, but once you get past around like 3,000 battles or something, having a personal rating less than 3,000 it's pretty hard, to be honest. Once you have a certain amount of battles, you're not going to have like a 1,000 rating or something. So those 30,000 points really do mean a lot, because as you can see, a lot of my team they weren't exceptionally high numbers, considering that you can get up to, I don't even know, the highest personal rating might be 12,000, something like that. Certainly 10,000 you can get to. And the average on our team is less than half of that. So what exactly do you do there, right? Meanwhile, the enemy team has a 30,000 lead over us, more than 30,000, and their average is more than 2,000 more than us. On average, their team was, I don't know, 40%? No, maybe like 30% better than our team on average, if you think about it that way. And, you might be also saying that, well, it also could just be that your team just sucked that game. They underperformed as well. And while maybe that's the case, there's a clear metric here that needs to be analyzed. And that's the fact that Wargaming instituted this personal rating number into the game. And as I'm clearly seeing right here, I don't think they do anything with it at all. I don't think they do anything with it. I understand some people being better than others, right? That's a given. But I feel as you shouldn't be thrown into the meat grinder as a new player into the game and have to face a team full of people who have much more experience or just plain out better than you at the game. And I think part of the solution to that would be for Wargaming to finally step in and maybe improve their matchmaker again. Maybe utilize some of the metrics they have in the game to balance teams. Because when you have games that are 15-0, 15-1, 15-2, and not games that are like 15-12 or 15-13, you start to pin some blame on stuff. And when you see that the gap in skill level by a fairly roundabout metric is so wide between the teams, you come to realize that something is just not right. And I realize that this video will probably get no views, and, might not get out there, but I just want it to go on my conscience that, I think that the game could be so much better if they just had a little bit of just a little modicum of responsibility, and use some of this stuff. Because I don't know about you guys, anybody who's watching this, but going into a game, any game, where you have the enemy team just vastly superior to your own in average skill level, and then watching you get stomped, that's not just your team is bad, that's just their team is way better than yours. And how are you really supposed to get that much better at the game when you don't even want to play it, when that's all you get matched up against? You know what I'm saying? Because for me, at least, the majority of my games are stomp fests, whether it's my team killing theirs or their team killing mine, And unless if you're in a platoon, it's really hard to influence the tide of battle sometimes, because two tanks, if they know what they're doing, they're going to kill you, even if you're 2 tiers higher than them. So I don't know. It's late. After playing that game, I needed to investigate this, and I don't know. There might be many videos of this out there, but I just wanted to get this off of my chest, and maybe somebody big will pick this up, but I really doubt it. But I don't know. I just think it would be really great to have the matchmaker improved again with such a simple thing. And I know many of you will be like, well, if you put similar skill levels against each other, it's going to make the matchmaker like harder to get matched and stuff like that, considering sometimes it can take up to like a minute to get into a match. And that's not what I'm suggesting. I'm merely saying that when you have a game where the enemy team has 30% more average personal rating than the other team, and that team gets stomped, it's a pretty clear indication it wasn't necessarily their fault. It was more so the matchmaker put them at a complete disadvantage in the first place. In closing, I think that wargaming should consider putting in some kind of, it doesn't have to be personal rating. I just think that's the most general statistic that you can use, but I think that they should put something in to make teams more even against each other, besides just the tanks and the tank compositions of each team. But anyway, that's it from me. But I hope you guys have a good one, and hope you stay safe out there with everything that's going on. It's a complete shit fest in the world. But all right. Yeah, I'll see you guys.